Body shops in America charged car owners over $2 billion in rust repair fees last year. Most of that work? You can do it yourself for $3. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how. Rust is a silent killer. It doesn't announce itself. One day there's a little orange patch near your wheel well or along a door edge, and you think, I'll deal with that later. 3 winters later, that same spot has eaten through your panel, crawled toward your frame, and now your mechanic is quoting you $1,200, $2,000, maybe $4,000 to fix it. And that's if he's even willing to touch it. A lot of body shops in the Rust Belt, places like Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, flat out refuse rust repairs now because the work keeps coming back, and they don't want the blame. Here's what nobody tells you up front. Rust doesn't just look bad, it directly tanks what your car is worth. Real-world used car pricing data shows that visible rust can drop a vehicle's resale value by anywhere between 10 and 40%. Think about what that actually means. A $15,000 car with rust creeping across the rocker panels could be worth as little as $9,000 by the time you try to sell it. That is not cosmetic damage. That is a check you are writing to whoever buys your car next. And the auto industry? They love this cycle. Every rust job that walks through a shop door is guaranteed revenue, at roughly $100 to $200 per hour in labor alone. Because most people don't know there is a completely different option sitting in their grocery store right now for $3. Before I tell you what that liquid is, let me clear something up. A lot of people spray WD-40 on rust because they heard it works. Here's the truth. WD-40 literally stands for Water Displacement 40th Formula. It was invented in 1953 to keep rocket parts dry. It loosens seized bolts, displaces moisture. Great product for what it does. But it is not a rust remover. The oily film it leaves behind can actually block treatments from bonding to the metal properly afterward. So if you've been spraying WD-40 on rust spots and wondering why they keep coming back, that's exactly why. You were managing rust, not killing it. The people who actually know how to permanently handle rust? Weekend restoration guys, the ones rebuilding classic Mustangs and old pickup trucks in their garages on Saturday mornings. They've quietly been using this method for decades. It's not a social media trend. It's not some new formula. It's straight chemistry that the big repair industry never had a financial incentive to tell you about. Because the moment average car owners know this, they stop paying shops for surface rust work. Go spend 20 minutes on any classic car restoration forum. Guys will tell you they've been doing this since before YouTube existed. The liquid is plain white distilled vinegar. A gallon at any grocery store in America right now runs you about $3. It contains acetic acid, an organic acid that reacts directly with iron oxide, which is the scientific name for rust, and breaks it down from the metal surface. No angle grinder, no specialty equipment, no automotive training required. Just vinegar, something to apply it with, some patience, and one critical follow-up step that I'll walk you through in a minute. And that follow-up step is what makes everything permanent. Here is what actually happens at the chemical level. Because understanding this is what separates a repair that lasts from one that fails in 6 months. Acetic acid contacts iron oxide and dissolves it. The rust softens, loosens, and lifts from the surface. Now, and this is where most online tutorials completely leave you hanging, white vinegar alone does not give you permanent protection. If you stop after the vinegar step and walk away, bare metal is sitting exposed to air and moisture, and new rust begins forming again almost immediately. In humid states like Florida, Georgia, or anywhere along the Gulf Coast, you could see flash rust within hours. The vinegar did its job. But the job isn't finished. The permanent solution is what you do right after. Once vinegar has cleaned the metal, you seal it immediately with a phosphoric acid-based rust converter. Products like OSFO or Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer are available at any hardware store and cost between $5 and $10 per quart. When phosphoric acid contacts clean metal, it chemically bonds and creates a layer of iron phosphate. Iron phosphate is stable. It cannot oxidize. It physically cannot rust. That is your permanent barrier, and it's what separates a real fix from a job you'll be redoing next spring. Here is exactly how to do this, step by step. Step 1. Clean the surface. Wipe the rusted area with a dry rag and use a wire brush to knock off any loose flaking material. You don't need to sand down to shiny bare metal. Just clear the big loose pieces so the vinegar can reach the rust beneath. Step 2. Apply the vinegar, soak a rag, paper towel, or a cheap brush, and apply it generously to the rusted area. If you're dealing with a small removable part, a bolt, hinge, or bracket, submerge it completely in a container of vinegar. Step 3. Wait. This is where most people go wrong. Give it a minimum of 30 minutes for light surface rust. For heavier, older rust that's been sitting for years, leave it overnight. Walk away. Let the acid do the work. Step 4. Scrub and wipe. Come back with a wire brush or steel wool and work the now loosened rust off the surface. Notice how much less effort this takes compared to dry grinding. Wipe everything clean with a dry rag. On step 5, the one that makes this permanent. Apply your rust converter immediately after wiping down. Don't leave bare metal exposed to air for more than a few minutes. Brush or spray the converter on thoroughly. Let it cure for the time listed on the label, typically around 24 hours. The treated area will turn dark, almost a black or deep purple color. That discoloration is the iron phosphate layer forming. That is exactly what success looks like. Step 6. Optional but recommended. If this is a visible exterior panel, prime and paint over the fully cured converter for a finished appearance. Standard automotive primer over iron phosphate bonds extremely well and holds long term. That's the complete process. Rust chemically neutralized, permanently sealed. Now here's the math, and I want you to sit with this for a second. Now, body shops in the US charge between $100 and $200 per hour in labor. A surface rust repair on a single panel takes 1 to 3 hours, minimum. That's why quotes come back at $300, $500, $800. With $3 of vinegar and an $8 rust converter, your total out-of-pocket spend is under $12. That's not slightly cheaper. That's not a little discount. That is potentially $800 back in your pocket for a 20-minute job in your own driveway. And if you follow the sealing step correctly, your repair will likely outlast a rushed shop job done on a packed Tuesday afternoon with 4 other cars in the queue ahead of yours. One more thing before you go, because this part matters specifically if you live anywhere north of the Mason-Dixon line. But road salt, the material spread across highways from November through March across the entire Midwest and Northeast, doesn't just cause moisture damage. Salt acts as an electrolyte in the oxidation reaction and accelerates corrosion by a factor of 5 or more compared to plain humidity alone. If you're driving roads in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Minnesota, New York, or anywhere in New England, you should be applying this vinegar and converter treatment to your undercarriage every single spring. Not when you see rust, before you see it. That one habit done consistently is the difference between a $12 treatment and a $3,000 frame repair bill 5 years from now. Rust doesn't warn you. You have to go looking for it first. $3, 20 minutes, and you just handled what shops charge hundreds for. Drop a comment below and tell me which part of your car you're treating first. I read every single one. And if you want the complete guide to protecting your entire undercarriage before next winter hits, that video is up right after this. I'll see you there.